the same issues that we have today with the rabbinic calendar are the same issues that they had in the first century with the calendar that was being regulated by the temple. Were there different calendars in the first century? Yes, there was. We know that there was different calendars in the first century. Qumran had a different calendar than the temple did, and Qumran was predominantly on a solar calendar. Now, the biblical calendar is a mixture. It's a mixture of lunar calendar and solar calendar, and this is something that's very important. And so we can't. In my mind, we can't just pick and choose what we want. And the reason why is because exactly what Courtney said. There's like all these different views and all these different, suggestions. People, what they want to do is they want to say, well, I don't agree with this calendar, so I'm going to make it up myself. In other words, I'm gonna choose myself what is right and what's wrong. Now, certainly, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I'm not saying that's like you should always do what you're convicted to do, right? But ultimately, what this does is it makes all these different people, predominantly in the Hebrew Roots movement, on all these different calendars, people celebrating a month apart, 2 months apart, 2 weeks apart, a couple days apart. It's just kind of like, it's very haphazard. And if you ask, like, well, why? Why would you do that? People are going to say, well, I have to cite the moon. In the first century, people were not allowed to cite the moon on their own. There were representatives from the temple that cited the moon. And did they fudge things? Yes, we know that they fudged things. Okay, and so the obvious question that comes is, well, if we know that they are off in some areas, then why in the world would we hold to the calendar? And the simplest answer that I can give you is because, well, Yeshua did. We know Yeshua held to the calendar that was in the temple. Why? Because he goes to the temple during the festivals. So he acquiesces to the wider rulings of Israel in terms of the calendar, so that he can celebrate at the same times, and so that he can go and participate in the temple service during the festivals. And so this, to me, Yeshua is my master. I will do what he does. If I can emulate him as much as possible, I will. Right? So in practice, I am going to emulate him in terms of he aligned himself with the wider body of Israel to celebrate at the same time as everyone else, and therefore I will too. Now, once again, it needs to quickly be said that there are some problems with this. I fully admit there are some problems with this. Let's look at some of them. In fact, what I want to do is I want to move to a video, and I just found this video this morning. It's not like this is the groundbreaking video or anything like that, but I think that this lady does a pretty good job. I've never heard of this YouTube channel. I have no clue who this lady is. I think that we're definitely in Hebrew Roots land here a little bit, just from the name of her YouTube channel. By the way, another mark of one of the distinctions I would say between Hebrew Roots and Messianic is the Messianics have taken up the tradition of not attempting to pronounce the Tetragrammaton, the sacred name of God. Why? Because there's a huge body of work on this. My father did a huge amount of work on this as well. The name of God was supposed to be kept sacred, and so it wasn't said outside of the temple. And so people would not say the sacred name of God outside of the temple. Maybe they would in prayer or whatnot, but eventually it got lost, and the scribes did not write the vowels. There's multiple ways that the vowels could be put onto the Tetragrammaton. And so, since we don't have the right vowels for the Tetragrammaton, we don't actually know how to pronounce it. So, within Judaism, we say things like Hashem, which means the name, or we say things like Adonai, which means master or Lord, or we say in English, we say things just like the apostolic scriptures do this. We say Lord or God instead of trying to pronounce the Tetragrammaton. Within the Hebrew Roots movement, this is not the case, and this comes from that the influence from the Sacred Name movement back in the 60s, which was part of the Hebrew Roots when it actually formed in the 80s. So that it's a holdover from that theology. And so I bring that up because the reason I would say that this lady seems to be within the Hebrew Roots realm is because of her YouTube handle, which is Yahuwah Truths. Okay. So once again, I don't think that you would have a Messianic at least in my mind, and I could be wrong about this, but messianics as a whole would substitute for Adonai or Hashem instead of attempting to use a pronunciation of the name that looks clearly to be wrong. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, so let's kick over and let's see what she has to say about. I think this is a pretty good representation of the people who don't want to follow the traditional Jewish calendar. This is what she says.
3 main reasons why I do not follow the Jewish calendar for new moons, Sabbats, and feast days. 1. The Jewish calendar is a lunisolar calendar that was calculated by Hillel II around the 4th century CE.
Let's pause just real quick. That's true. So Hillel II did try to get everybody onto the same page, and he did that by making a calendar that everyone could use in the diaspora or in Israel. But he's not the one who made it a lunar solar calendar. The lunar solar calendar comes from God himself. The Bible tells us that the sun and the moon are what regulate our calendars. They're for times and seasons. It's not Hillel who made this a lunar solar calendar. So I think that there might be a little bit. I don't know if that was really the point of what she was trying to say or not, but ultimately it's not Hillel who made this a lunar solar calendar. Continue listening to this conversation by clicking the full show link on the left side of your screen, or check out the video on the right that YouTube thinks you'll like. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you never miss content from Messiah Matters.